Hello, my name is David Ferguson.
And I'm Sean Patterson, and we are the directors of Rewired Consulting.
We would like to welcome you to the Rewired Consulting Podcast, featuring guests from across the IT industry.
We will be talking to technology leaders from all over New Zealand, providing unique insight and good chat with the people on the front line of innovation and transformation.
This series will give you a great opportunity to hear the stories of the people involved and create the strategy and vision for some of New Zealand's most interesting businesses.
This episode is powered by SmartSpace.ai, the secure, scalable enterprise AI platform that transforms your AI capabilities without compromising security or control. Generic AI tools expose your data to unnecessary risk. SmartSpace.ai deploys securely within your own Azure environment in an hour, accelerating AI adoption. SmartSpace.ai simplifies enterprise AI solutions, cutting implementation costs by up to 90%, starting from $400 a month and deploy in minutes. Ready to lead your organization's AI transformation with confidence? Visit smartspace.ai/rewired for a special offer for Rewired Consulting Podcast listeners. SmartSpace.ai, secure, scalable AI that grows with your ambition.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Rewired Consulting Podcast with myself, Sean Patterson, and co-host David Ferguson. Today we're delighted to welcome Abhishek Bedi onto the podcast. Abhishek is a seasoned technology leader with experience spanning digital platforms, web and mobile development, embedded systems, and AI. Over the years, he's partnered closely with executive teams to build high-performing groups, identify growth opportunities, and deliver meaningful business outcomes. For the past 7 years, Abhishek has been part of one of New Zealand's most well-known brands, Mitre, and in his current role as Applications Manager for Digital Channels, he and his team are leading the company's AI strategy and DevOps transformation, driving Mitre's broader digital evolution and enhancing customer engagement. So today we'll be chatting with Abhishek to learn more about his career journey and his path as an entrepreneur, his passion for people leadership, his work in advancing AI adoption, and his perspective on the future of technology in New Zealand. So Abhishek, welcome to the podcast.
How are you? Thank you. Thanks, Sean, for the introduction. It was mouthful. I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Very well. Thank you again for your time. It's it's great to have you on. So, look, firstly, I guess we always like to kind of go back to the start, Abhishek. So can you tell us a little bit, I guess, about how and why you chose IT as a career path, and maybe how that led into taking you down this sort of entrepreneur road?
Right. So IT path, I never chose IT. I'm an electronics engineer by trade. So what happened, and not many people know why I went into IT or electronics. When I was 16, I started building computers. By the time I was 18, I sold my first 2 Pentium computers. And while I was doing that, I was quite intrigued with the integrated circuits, the black circuits on the motherboard that you see, as to how they build, what happens, and how to code them or build them. And that's where my journey started. And I wanted to be an electronics engineer to learn that. And from there, I enrolled into an engineering program and came to New Zealand. Yeah.
And how old were you then?
I was 19. When I came to New Zealand, I was 19. So I was doing my bachelor's of engineering in electronics. That's where the journey started. We built robots, we built all sorts of things. I mean, I built a dust particle collector that goes into a NASA's spaceship. There's a lot of things. I built the robots. You see the robo vacuum cleaners. That was our second project that we did in university. And from there, I went on to computer vision, which was AI, part of AI at the time.
Yep.
Then from there, that was all during my studies. And then I started my first job as an junior electronics engineer here in Birkenhead. And then there I learned a lot. I mean, I built telecom systems for prisoners, for Auckland Central Jail. That was one of the interesting projects that I did. Then there were dog collars, RF radio frequency enabled dog collars used for hunting.
Yep.
I've done that. Built some horse, not horseshoe, they were horse collars as well, probably, but they were for racing horses to monitor using GPS and RF technology back in the day for a company based out of UK. And then next couple of years, I was working in that as a junior engineer, but I've always had the knack for building my own company. So 2007, I started my own company called Tentronics, which means
Sure.
10 times electronics. And the first thing I built was an automatic door control systems using UPS, so which would have a power failure backup in them. And India was my market, so we were developing it for a client back in India, and that's how Tentronics was formed.
Excellent.
Yeah, the
And why? Just going back on obviously moving to New Zealand when you were only 19. Why did you choose New Zealand?
I never chose New Zealand. New Zealand chose me. It was, it was. I was going to go to Australia or Canada because of electronics. So I was not able to get into electronics course in India. I was doing mechanical engineering for a couple of years, and then came along these universities, sat a couple of exams, met people, and then New Zealand was, frankly speaking, I got a visa quicker than others. And that's why I landed here. I mean, I love being here now, so it's home. And yeah, I never anticipated this would be home.
Incredible. Did you think that once that you were here, there was opportunity here? Like obviously, you kind of mentioned that you've got that kind of entrepreneurship sort of mindset. Do you feel as though you could harness that in New
Yes, I mean,
Zealand?
entrepreneurship came because of, I mean, I wanted to start my own business. I started in India, but the thing is, the opportunities that you get over here is the Kiwi ingenuity. You learn all of those things. That's what I learned in my first job. And you see, you can go and talk to people. It's a small market. You start developing relationships, which are very important for building your businesses. And that's how, that's how we started. So definitely New Zealand as a small community, small country helped to, fulfill my or aspire my aspirations as an entrepreneur.
So the business that you set up then, what was what was it you were producing?
Oh, so as I said, it was electronics to start with, and then from there, what happened was we did a market research. So I was doing a postgrad in 2006. So seven I started. So 6, 7, I was completing my postgrad, which actually took 3 years rather than a year. But in that, I developed a VLSI core, so which is very large scale integration. So whatever you see as in as a microcontroller in your TV remote, in your mobile phone, in your traffic light controllers. So those controllers, when we say traffic light controller, the controller is an FPGA, which is a very large scale integration. But the IC circuit that I spoke about. So I learned to code that. That was my research. I evolved. That was true AI that I did. So what I did at that time was I made those circuits evolve themselves. So we would run a million iterations at night. I would leave the devices running. And then the following morning, I would check the results to see, oh, yeah, it did evolve. So it did evolve into basic gates, AND gate, NAND gates. In fact, I've got a book published for my research. And that's where I pivoted towards developing an AI-powered traffic light controller. That is a half patent or partial patent that I've written. And in 2009, I got incubated into AUT Business Innovation Center. That's where we started. That's where Tentronics actually started kicking off after 2 years of inception. And we did an education board, develop an education board for electronics engineers. We did, as I said, the automated door control and SMS servers in those days. And the traffic light controller was the patent that I was writing and building towards. What happened was, during that, we did a 3 to 4 months of market research. India was my market. And what we got told was that India will skip because those traffic light controllers were going to talk to the in-car navigation devices, the old
Yeah.
devices you would have.
Yeah.
So India as a market would skip those in-car navigation devices. Hence, the recommendation was to switch on to software. And in those days, mobile phones, iPhone had recently released, it was iPhone 1 at the time. And we were asked to switch on to that, onto software. And that's where I did another shift in my career going towards software development. Mobile application development is where I actually started as a software developer or engineer, you might call. Um, and and that's where it all changed. So I started developing a mobile app. While I was doing that, I enrolled in a master's degree with one of the very well-known brands over here called GeoSmart. New Zealand was owned by NZAA at the time. So they they had a program. I mean, I got a scholarship, and I enrolled into their program to do the research for them to build a computer vision software. Now, this was a pure software. So have you seen Google cars, or have you heard of them? With six cameras, they drive around and they keep clicking photographs to build the maps. Right,
Yeah.
So they had similar maps, similar mapping solution for New Zealand and Australia to GeoSmart. I built a computer vision software to analyze these terabytes of data, image data, and tell the users or the maps where the speed signs were, what the speed signs were at a particular location, and that's how we basically started working with them. And after a year, which was 2011, I said my company was running in the parallel, so I had around about 10, 15 graduates who were working with me, building the dream. And I was working with other companies and meeting clients and doing other things. And in the evening, I would do my research. So I remember my days were starting around 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. the following day. And then I would go for sleep, and then I would come back, and then I would start working again. So all these things that you hear about startups, you need to work 16 hours a day. I've done that, been there, done that many times. I mean, I've done round about 7 to 8 startups.
You were a lot younger then, though, wasn't it? A bit more energy.
Sorry?
You were a lot younger, and a lot of energy you would have had back then.
They'll have the energy. still working around about 12 hours a day, give or take.
Yeah.
Work over the weekends.
Do you know what was cool, Abhishek? Just hearing that. I mean, obviously, myself and David have known you a long time, and obviously through Mitre 10, but hearing how passionate and how much enthusiasm, because not only was doing your studies and your scholarship. I mean, this isn't a hobby for you, you know what I mean, or it's not a job. It's actually your life. You're so passionate about it. You've done it for so long, and you've spun a lot of plates over the years, right? Which it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication.
I think it's passion. So I still ask when I interview people. I still ask what gets you out of the bed. If you, till date, as Dave said, the energy or the body or the age factor is kicking in, but I still am passionate. Yesterday, I worked from 6 to 6 because I got up early and I just logged onto the computer. I was working from home yesterday, so it was good, and I had to focus and develop an AI solution. So for work, and I just woke up and I said, today is the day. I've got no meetings or a meeting which I cancelled, and I just focused on it completely. It was an amazing experience, and that's the passion that anybody needs to have, and that gets you going.
Yeah. So going back to the venture you had, so look, obviously it was a bit of ahead of its time, and you said that Google had Google developed that product, or was that was around the same sort of time? So you were before then, yeah?
Yeah, we were. So Google would have been in their experimental phase in US. We were not aware. In those days, internet was there, obviously, but not to the level that we have. There was no social media. 2000, I'm talking about 2009. Facebook was launched in 6 or 8. 2008, it started becoming popular in New Zealand. So we didn't have that many connections. So what I remember is because we had to do the research to get the funding. So I got a good amount of hefty funding from NZTE as well, around about almost $500,000. at that time,
Wow.
and as a seed funding. And the research that we submitted was that Shanghai Transport Corporation was running 3,000 computers to do exactly what we were going to do with this piece of hardware, which would be a traffic light controller. And
Wow.
from there we moved on. When we pivoted to software, it was going to be the mobile phones that we all have in our pockets now.
Yeah.
So it was very unique at the time, and it was called GetRasta.com, the route that matters. So it was for Indian
Yeah.
market. India is quite chaotic in terms of traffic. I mean, especially Delhi, where I'm from, the capital. And in there, to maneuver things around, I mean, to drive on the streets is very difficult and very challenging. But one thing people carried at the time was
Mhm.
phones. Everybody had a phone
Yeah.
in their pocket. Same concept that Google uses, exactly the same thing we had at the time. In fact, so I went back. So coming on to the story, I got funded and we went to India in 2011, in late 2011, August. And then our job was to set up the office, get people in, start developing and working on the mobile application and the maps for India. The maps were non existent. I mean, we picked up some
Yeah.
open street maps, started editing them, and adding more because there was a lot of infrastructure and growth happening in the country. So from there, there was a small blocker that we faced, and that was my partner over here got a good project for Australia. So they were expanding into Australia. Now, the maps that you see on iPhones, the TomTom maps, are by them. So they were my partners at the time, right? So they had the best
Yeah.
maps in Australia and New Zealand. So
Right.
I stalled for around 9 months, and I joined a company, another startup, which happened to become at the time the India's largest audiobooks company. I got them.
Ah.
So
Wow.
I got. They were struggling for 3 years to go digital. So they were in stores. They would sell CDs, audiobooks as
Yeah.
CDs. And so my only job was to get them live. There was a World Book Fair happening in 2012, 2012, Jan or Feb. So I joined late 11. Within 3 months, we got them live to a point that we got a partnership from Samsung India, and it was around about it was a good amount of partnership at the time and a good brand value, and and it was good. So we launched them, and in next 6 months we would stabilize. We would do deliver the solution that we promised Samsung, and then I came back to Get Rasta, which was the main solution. The reason I went back to India, and then we started with that. But the learning in that was just before we were reopening our offices and getting started, Samsung came with Google Maps in India, and
Ah.
that's where we
Uh-huh.
had to, we took a
Yeah.
setback, but we continued for a year because, as they say, if you don't pay for the product, you are the product. So that's what Google was doing. And what I started
Yeah.
to counter that was that we will pay you to use us. So we started paying users to use, and we were again one of the first crowd-funded or crowd-sourced application available in the Indian market at the time. And then again, what we did with this idea of paying back, I mean, there's a big cashback thing that goes on in the Indian market these days, and anywhere. I mean, you have cashback, and that was the thing. It was not known as cash.
How much were you? How much were you
Oh, it would
paying?
have been 300 rupees per month, around about $10 at the time, equivalent to a
Right. Okay.
student's 3G network for the month.
Right.
So, which means your mobile
Yeah.
was essentially free. Your mobile usage was essentially free.
Yeah.
So that was a good amount of money. We got some traction, but we couldn't compete because the thing that I
Yeah.
under realized, or I didn't realize at the time, was that you needed to advertise more. You need big hoardings and you needed TV advertisements. So the advertisement budget was really, really humongous, which we couldn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Get Rasta
Yeah.
had to be stopped. And then from there, I quickly moved on to a solution called My Shop for retailers. Now, that was while we were doing Get Rasta, we had a plan which was phase two or phase three of the plan was to start showing deals while you're driving. Your fuel's
Right.
running out. Would you like to go to this petrol pump? They're giving you
Yeah.
the fuel at this level. So from that concept, we came to My Shop, where retailers each retailer would have their own personalized application. So like Shopify in today's
Yeah.
day and age. So, but that was a mobile app. So the mobile app would, if I was a consumer, I would download the application. I would choose my preferred store. My mobile app would customize the color combination, the products, the deals would be purely for that store. Then I could switch the store eventually if I had to, but for one category, I would only have one preferred store in the area. It was a location-based application.
And was this just in
India,
India,
yes, New Delhi,
Abhishek?
yes,
Was this launched
yeah,
first in
yeah,
India?
New Delhi, yes. And we had a big launch, and it was good. We started getting traction on it, but the retailers, it was challenging for retailers because they were not able to use the application themselves. So they needed to hire, they were not tech savvy. So
Yeah.
even though the
Right.
application was very
Yeah.
easy to click and upload your deals and things, but it just had its own challenges. We had to hire people to go and support those retailers, and the cost of hiring and keeping and maintaining the staff, the operational cost was very high. So that was
Yeah.
that was it for my shop.
It also suggests though that on those like kind of ventures, like the timing, you know, if you're out by timing, it can have such a detrimental effect on it, you know. Whereas if you launch something at just the right time for the market, or you know, that can be all the difference,
Correct.
right?
Absolutely critical. Timing is absolutely critical. Product market fit is absolutely critical. And in both these cases that I've just shared with the users, both of them happened. The product market fit was not
Yeah.
there. In my shop, Get Rasta was time criticality. We lost by 9 months.
Those a small sort of differential, and you could be a multi-billionaire. Yeah, mate.
Yeah, I will be. Even though money
I
is
like
not the
that. Okay, yeah,
motivation,
good.
even though money is not the
Yeah,
motivation, but it is
yeah,
it is an achievement that I want to. I mean, I've been there many times, right? As I said, 6, 7 startups. I've gone into millions. I don't know if I should be disclosing that on public forum, but I've touched there, up, down, up, down. But yeah,
Yeah.
billion is my next mark.
but I think that's what
But well,
makes
the
it.
next venture, we'll invest in it, Abhishek. So yeah, just keep us
This
posted.
time I'm aiming for a solopreneur. Because of the advent of AI, solopreneur is the new thing,
Yeah,
not an entrepreneur.
Okay.
but it's what makes your story interesting as well, Abhishek. And it's the reason we like doing these podcasts as well, is because, like, from the New Zealand market, people will know you from Mitre 10. They don't understand what you did before. And that's what really sort of resonates with some of the people that listen to the podcast, is understanding what that backstory is. So, look, obviously, entrepreneurship and technology is a massive passion of yours. So after those sort of like those ventures, obviously I'm sure the fire was still in the heart. Where did you go from there?
From there, I still continued. I mean, once an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to join someone and do things. But I still had a digital agency, which was my bread and butter, in
Yeah,
parallel. I did. There was another startup in New Zealand that a lot of people wouldn't know of at the time, but that was about inviting people to their homes, so basically you're a cook. You have a set menu for tonight. You put it on the application. People would see. You'll vet those guys that if these guys are okay or not. They pay and they come and eat with you. So you socialize and you eat together. Called Tumli,
wow,
Tamili, I think. So
okay,
we delivered their solution. We built that 3 tier solution on, and that was the first time I was introduced to cloud, Azure cloud at the time. So they were using Azure cloud. And they were a New Zealand company. I had helped them a couple of years ago for a mobile application. They called me, Abs, would you like to do this? So sure. And it was the time of my life when I had some personal issues happening, and we were struggling as well, and it was the perfect time. It was like a
yeah,
magic. Suddenly you get a Skype call, an invite, and oh, I'm this guy. You help me? Yeah, sure. Join onto Skype, and then you get a project.
yeah,
So that was my digital agency, and on the side we did this project. Then I also started after I think 6 months in 2016 or late 2016, early 2016. We started up with an online bakery. So my wife, we had a baby and she was ready to get back to work. She wanted to do a bakery. Now this bakery was a big hit, big hit. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a proper. So my digital agency was supporting the baking she was doing and selling it online, to a point that I'll share an example that when do you see if your product or your work is being, when you find getting the results. So one day our delivery
Mm.
boy was, he called in sick. I went and delivered the cake, a cake. And I went, and this was gym on third floor. I just, rang the bell. There was a girl, a woman came out, and she said, I just asked her, because, how did you find us? Oh, we Googled you, and you were, we Googled a bakery around us, and you were the top. And that's when I said,
Brilliant.
yes, that's a win you need,
Yeah.
right? So my digital
Yeah.
agency is definitely showing results, because we had clients, we were showing those reports. It's okay, but when you're doing for yourself and you see and meet the end user, that is a feeling that I still remember, right? Customers.
A win like that, such a small, not a small thing, but a huge thing for you and your wife at the time, right? So it would just the feelings of, again, that entrepreneurship, and like that me and David kind of get as well. Running our own thing, that a small win in business is massive, right? And it can make your day, and you'll remember it for years to come.
Yeah, when you get candidates and those candidates are successful in a company, same feeling, 100%, right?
Yeah,
It's your
brilliant.
product that's being successful, and customers genuinely coming and saying, "Yeah, thank you very much," and repeat customers and all of that. And these are very small and humanitarian examples that you would not hear in other places. So I just like to share these things with people. And then we had something in India called demonetization in 2016. In late 2016, we secured. So we secured a big contract for weddings. It was wedding season, but then demonetization came in. That killed the business. Now I won't get into details, but that was late 2016, and then we ran the business for another 6 months before we decided that we'll move back to New Zealand. And then I came back in late 2017. We were back, and I joined Mitre, which was the next chapter. It was very hard to join a company. I started as a contractor in early 2018 in Mitre, in Feb, I think, early Feb, and from there I've been employed, and I've been with them for what, 8 years now, almost 8 years.
So what was
So,
what was like in terms of going to Mitre 10 and the type of business it was? Because obviously you've been there for quite a period of time now, but there must have been something there which still sort of enabled you to obviously be able to like show your skills and progress, as well as like the entrepreneurship and the passion still has to be there as well. But we've known you for a while and you've been in a lot of different roles there. What did Mitre 10 allow you to do, or was it an environment that allowed you to still use some of those skills and some of that passion you had?
So when I joined Mitre, it was around about 20 people in IT department. It
Yeah.
was the
mm,
thing that attracted. I joined as a contractor, and you're obviously free to move around and move out if you don't like the place. But the thing that I really liked about Minor 10 was it was multiple companies within a big company. So it was an enterprise, but
yeah,
there were a lot of small companies. Each department was acting like one. We have a common theme, entrepreneur theme within the cooperative. We are a cooperative, so all the stores are cooperative. But they're all entrepreneurs by themselves. So the DNA is such that helped. That I was very happy. Never felt like a corporate. It was very entrepreneurial, so I could do things. In fact, I changed, or I grew into 6 different roles in first 5 years of my career, or maybe four.
Yeah.
So I could do that.
T- what obviously I've known you for a few years, Abhishek, and as a people leader, obviously you're a people leader at the moment and have been for a little while. And anyone that we've placed in your team talks about how good a people leader you are and how passionate you are about it, and which is awesome. So, can you tell us, what, from your perspective, what makes you a good people leader?
Being human, simple. I always say that it's not
Simple,
about
simple as that.
some people are natural leaders. Some people have to strive towards becoming one. And
Yeah,
the crux of it all is you have to be good human to understand others. Skills, the technical skills, because I'm a development manager, so I hire technical people, or service manager when I was. Skills can be learned, but a soft skill has you need to have that in your character to learn, to grow. The can do attitude is what I look for when I interview people. That's the first and foremost thing. I mean, I can give you an example. I had to reject a a candidate once, because that person, even though they scored really high in development test, but they wanted hand holding. They didn't have the hunger in them,
Right.
the passion, right? So me and our people's team, I mean, one of our colleagues, we both had the same opinion, and that's what we live at Mitre by, which is culture. So yeah,
Yeah.
when you're hiring, when you're growing in your career, you have to be good. You just be yourself, be a good human, watch out for others, help others, and let them grow. So if you happen to Google Tentronics, which was my first company, I mean it still is.
Mhm.
Tentronics logo was the motto of company was "Together we grow." So back in
Yeah.
2007, I had that. You grow, I grow, we go together, and
Yeah.
you can't be alone. Even though
So you hire for attitude a lot of the time. You see something within someone, you see attitude and that will and desire
correct,
to actually,
correct.
that's the thing. Like people, that whole motto around hard work beats talent all the time. You know what I mean? Some people are super talented, but they don't want to work for it. Where other people want to work for it and they'll get there. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But as you say, if you get a team that wants to do that together, then you all thrive and you all grow. And
And I mean,
like even now, it seems like you're the type of person who's still growing, and still trying to learn.
yeah, I mean, learning, if a man stops learning, they die. You're dead. So you need to learn till the
Yeah,
time you die, right? So I mean, both ways is okay. Sometimes you have to hire purely technical person who might not have the attitude.
Mhm.
Depends on the role as well. But majority of the times you need the can-do
Yeah.
skill. Can-do is important. That's what I learned in New Zealand when Sean asked me what helped me in my entrepreneur journey when I came, and I saw that as well here. It's just in the DNA. Everybody's doing two jobs, three jobs. I would go for my interviews early on in the career, and they would say, "Oh, electronics, digital. What about analog electronics?" I was flown to Christchurch for the second round of interview, right? And they started discussing about me knowing software. I said, I'm an embedded engineer. I do code in C, but I don't know anything about software as such. And they started discussing, and I printed out. I mean, I had a printout in my hand. I said, "This is your job advertisement." I never said that, but that's the expectation of people, right? They need that, and
yeah.
today I realize that, and I
Well, it looks like you were sort of ahead of the curve, weren't you, with the stuff like AI and the type of products that you were taking to market back in your early career as well. But like, obviously, the industry is constantly evolving, and all we hear about at the moment is AI and how AI is going to change the world. But it's something that you've been engrossed in for a long, long time, and I know it's something which you've implemented across your development team at the moment in Mitre 10.
yes,
Like, what's your take on how AI is going to change things, and how have you adopted it into your business and your people at this stage?
I personally love AI. I, in
Yeah,
fact, went and I had a talk. I gave a talk at AWS Cloud Day this year, earlier a couple of months ago. And it was all about how we've implemented AI at Mitre with my developers. So our CDO, Peter, had a vision of increasing developers' productivity using AI tools. And that's the talk about. And in last 1.5, and we were one of the first ones to do that. We started this in early 2024, late 2023 to 2024 early. We started introducing a coding assistant or a coding tool called Amazon Q with our team. And today, the thing is that we are seeing around 30% uplift in developers' productivity, the people, and not only in their productivity, the work that they'll do every day, but the work they would not have touched or learned. Example being, I have a developer in the team who's a
Mm.
backend developer, and she's junior. Recent 6 years of experience, still learning the backend development, the world of Java. And what she was able to do with AI was able to do 30% of her tickets for 3 months of trial that we ran were purely in front end development using AI. Now, we would not have touched those tickets because they were not high priority tickets.
No.
They were important for our customers, and we didn't have resources to do that. She was able to learn the front end language, she was able to deliver, and without any bugs. So, thanks to
Wow.
AI. So, that is a win.
Yeah.
So how long, Abhishek, would those tickets and that work? How long would that have been kind of sitting there, or when would that be a priority? Like in terms of time frames, what have you
They
cut
were they
out
were
there?
quick fixes. They were quick fixes, but even if you look
Right.
at a normal a seasoned developer, I mean, if I would have picked up the ticket, it would have taken me 15-20 minutes to code and to read. So half an hour to read, 1 hour is what we take minimum, right, of development time.
Yeah.
Now, what
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
means is I would have read the user story, I would have coded, I would have checked it, I would have done. Someone would have done a peer review, a testing would have gone through, unit testing,
Hmm.
and then you would have merged it. So usually minimum. I mean, I'm saying there are a couple of button changes and functionality changes, very simple changes, would minimum take an hour. So if I see, I don't remember the numbers, but it was around about 50 tickets that she did. So 50 hours saved in 3 months. I mean,
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
that's by a person who would not have those tickets would not have been touched. So the user experience would have been really bad on the. So we build websites for Mitre. So my team looks after those, and
Yeah.
that's where we would have delivered the value.
Out of interest, Abhishek, AI from developers in general. Look, they're probably looking. There's probably people looking over their shoulders at AI as a developer and thinking this might come from my job at some stage. But then there's other people thinking this is going to make me better. Like in terms of your team and how they look at AI, like was there any resistance to start using those tools, or was everybody sort of bought in?
There was resistance. Definitely, there was resistance
Yeah,
from the senior devs. People didn't want to, and that's why it took us a year to successfully say that yes, we have implemented and we started using it. I mean, give you an
yeah,
example. We had 5 or 6 developers using it daily out of a team of 12. Today, I have extended that from 12 to a team of 30, the use of AI. And I've got on a daily average 15 to 17 people using it. Now, this includes people calling in sick or not even coding that day or going for planning sessions. But on an average, from 5 to 15 developers is a big jump.
yeah,
And then we
Mm.
are delivering solutions in where we would have usually got contractors, specialist contractors, to bug
yeah,
fix, the codes or pipelines and those sort of things. So it is. It is. I would not say it would. It would not eat your job. It would
yeah,
extend your capability. AI. I mean,
yeah,
to your initial question, Dave. And as you would be hearing, it is probably a hype bubble, but the hype is all around marketing, not the tool for development. Yeah, it
yeah,
is it
yeah,
is
yeah,
beautiful. I have developed or delivered 6 production grade applications while working at Mitre as a normal manager. That's my normal job. I've still been able to deliver because of AI. Around about 6. I've helped a couple of friends in the evenings, right? Um, I mean, I can share a very good example of AI. A friend of mine
yeah.
is a tailor. Now he wanted. He's a tailor, right? Single, solopreneur, entrepreneur. He's running a shop. He wanted. He was writing receipts with hands, right? So he wanted a printer and wanted to go next step. He went and inquired. 6 months ago or 8 months ago now. He called me and he said, Abhishek, can you build me something? I said, it's too much. I'll find a solution off the shelf, use that. And we
Yeah.
found one of the very famous companies. The challenge with that was the free solution. And 6 months later, from using that, so I set it up for him. It was a weekend, right, with him. Printer set up. Now everything gets printed. People get invoices. He's happy. 6 months later, he gets an email from them saying, "You've run out of the quota of 500
Uh,
invoices per year. Now you have to pay some $200 a month recurring." Now he had done 400 invoices in 6 months. Right
wow.
now,
Mm.
400 invoices in 6 months, and he had 500 as a quota. Now,
Yeah.
200 per month was bit high for him. He said,
Yeah.
then he called me again. He said, "What can we do?" I said, "Hang on, let me. Okay, we'll try. I don't know promises, but I'll try to build an application, an invoice software for you using AI." And guess
Yeah.
what? He's been using it. He's doing thousands of invoices. It's running. It's a production grade application, which I didn't even touch 6 months ago because I know how much time and effort goes into it. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
if for technical users online. It is cloud-based application, 100% serverless. It is secure. I've run security reports on it, and it's all secure. He can use it. It's customized. It's got single sign-on. You name it, and it has it.
How much does it cost him?
$0. I didn't charge him anything. It's just that.
That's amazing. Yeah, yeah. If you like,
But
yeah,
if I was to, and that's the trend we're seeing in this industry. The SaaS products are
yeah,
the biggest.
Yeah.
They've got the biggest threat from AI. Now I can, if I was to sell and make money off this software, I can. Maybe I would. I don't know. I would sell it for $5 a month, $10 a month. That's it.
yeah.
You know.
Awesome.
So you can make that sort of thing. And it's a software. There's no AI in it yet. If I add AI, you can add
Yeah.
more money on it.
But you used AI to build it, which was
Correct.
the important thing. It
Correct.
gave you the opportunity to do
Correct.
it.
And
So what about someone who's completely non-technical, like myself and Sean? What could we
so
use AI to build the software without having the knowledge?
that's a very good question, and it's a big myth. Yes, you guys can
Yeah,
build, but you won't be able to
yeah.
build a production grade software. You can do
Okay,
POCs.
yeah,
You need a
Right.
technical person because the intricacies of how this software works in the background are very difficult. What people and that's where
yeah,
the myth is going to burst. So
yeah,
that's my take
yeah,
on that, right? Because I've had experiences from a couple of non-technical or citizen developers. They built
yeah,
it, it was working, and they did a change. It got stuck in a loop. The AI got stuck in a loop. Now it keeps rewriting the code, but to the user, it's not changing. Let's say a button, right, was supposed to be some orange color button, was supposed to be green color button. The button is there. You can see it's orange. You say change it to green, it just gets stuck in a loop. Now it just doesn't change.
yeah,
And this is a nice use case. One of my acquaintances, I mean, a girl, she was learning AI and a marketing person, and she built a website. And then I happened to help her online, and I saw that she had named the page. So she created two pages with similar names. So AI, because it's pure English, it was just picking up the names. Right? It only had an underscore between the names, so it couldn't change. And but you have to dig into the code to find that.
yeah,
So those
Right.
sort of things.
yeah. So what do you see like in terms of, because obviously we're very interested in how the recruitment market is going to be and the type of candidates that are going to become more prevalent as time goes on. Do you see a change in the skill set of people going forward? Now, obviously, you're still going to hire people from attitude and stuff like that, but I just mean in terms of helping to future-proof your career, what are the sort of things that you would advise people coming through university now and starting to get their foot in commercial roles?
Work on your creativity. Be
Yeah,
human, as I said, because not only soft skills, I mean, creativity is a soft skill, right? So, as a
yeah,
software developer, like in olden days, we would learn mathematic tables, times tables, right? So, you will learn those. Now, you can just use the calculator or you can use laptops, computers. Similarly, you will have AI to do the basics of coding beautifully. It will give you the documentation. It will write the code properly. But like my creativity helped a friend of mine, right? I mean,
yeah,
building an invoice software. I would have gone on whiteboard. I just took and drew it on a paper, and I just gave it commands. And then it goes and researches for you as well, which is beautiful. Because it's got more context
yeah,
than my brain has. I've never
yeah,
developed
yeah,
invoice software, so it was able to do that. And in one go, it gave me a decent looking software that was workable. And then you just be creative and can you do this? Can you do that? Can you change this and make it efficient? So creativity
yeah.
is absolutely crucial.
Yeah. Is there any type of candidate or any type of roles that you would worry about going forward, like for people that because that's you listen to podcasts and there's always two things: is AI is going to take everyone's jobs and it's going to kill us all. So, do you see it that way? Well, maybe
No,
not the killing us, but in terms of taking people's jobs, what do you see from that?
I'm not an AI expert, but I have been in the field for last 20 years, 20 years, right? So I can say one thing, that artificial general intelligence still doesn't exist. That is
Yeah,
where it can kill our jobs or us. But we are humans. We will evolve. We've built this.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's a tool, right? It's a tool for me. It's a large language model or large language database for me, which has
Yeah.
got more context. Use it to your advantage. I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to take any jobs. I mean, yes, it will take jobs of people who are not ready to evolve with it. Right?
Yeah.
I'm a super developer. I don't want to learn. I don't want to even use a tool because I code perfectly. No, you don't, because
Yeah.
you cannot beat machines in perfection,
Yeah.
right? You're a
Yeah.
human, and that's why you're human.
Yeah.
So that
Exactly.
that's
We're all imperfect.
yeah, exactly.
And also the consciousness thing as well. The thing that makes us all human, or well, depending on different beliefs and stuff like that. There's a soul that people have. You know what I mean? There's a consciousness. Will a machine ever have that? You know what I mean? That's the other side as well. That's like can software develop or grow that? I don't think
Watch.
so.
So consciousness, it's not really consciousness that I'm going to talk about, but there's a movie called Eagle Eye. If I don't know if you guys have seen it, 2008 movie, Eagle Eye. Just Google it, watch it. It's got some sort of consciousness, but not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all connected. It's super intelligence, and it manipulates human beings. It's like Terminator somehow as well. But again, even in Terminator, we don't have consciousness, right? You've got one
Yeah.
job, and
No.
that's the job you're going to do. And that's the basic difference between computers. And when we learn computer vision or artificial intelligence, we see this, that computers can find their way. Humans can find their way in darkness, but computers are not able to replicate a task of a 1 year old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's those sort of things. And when you see computer vision, when I was doing the project of the detecting road signs, computer would not be able to detect a speed sign with a shade on it or a tree in front of it.
Right.
But our eyes can,
Yeah.
because of our learnings that we have done. See?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we're safe for now. Yeah, that's what you're telling us. Yeah.
Next for me, I've got something that I'm building currently,
Yeah.
and it's in AI.
Yeah.
It will be out soon for people to
All right.
try. So as I said, my passion doesn't die. I want to
Right.
make it big in terms of achieving something bigger that I can't imagine right now, that I can achieve as per my circumstances, but also help the people, help the world. And I've got a big project at the back of my head, which I won't reveal right now because till the time it's not done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's all about how would you survive in the AI world? How would the next generation survive in the AI world? That's where I'm going.
Awesome. Well, we very much hope that you get the timing right with this one because it's
We'll try
because
again.
that's the thing.
We'll try
Yeah, it
again.
is.
It doesn't matter. I won't give up. I won't die till I make it big. If I die, I'll take a birth again and I'll make it big. That's my commitment to life.
That's awesome, mate. Look,
Good on you, mate.
yeah, that was brilliant. Look, it's as I said. Look, I alluded to it earlier. It's great to hear the backstory of what you're all about, and some like it's a very interesting story hearing about your entrepreneurship, where it was going, where it could have took you, and then obviously having to go sideways and sort of like come into a corporate world and work for someone and stuff like that. But it sounds like Mitre 10's been a great environment for you to keep on flourishing. And obviously the stuff that you're doing with your team at the moment and getting the AI adoption and seeing the efficiencies and productivity means that you're staying ahead of innovation. So look, that was a really, really great story, great podcast. We really enjoyed it as well because of the fact that we've known you for so long and we've recruited quite a few people into your team as well. So it was great for you to come on. So thanks very much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for inviting me, both of you. It's been good. I've never shared this journey, and please cut off a few things that I've said if you can. But it's all good. Even if you share it, it's good. It's learnings for others as
Good.
well. So,
Good stuff. And look to our listeners and our viewers, great to have you with us as always. If you continue to like our content, please share, follow, like all that sort of stuff, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. So thanks very much for being with us. Thanks, Abhishek. We'll see you for the next podcast.
thank you. Thanks, Sean. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.